Welcome to this Haiku screencast, and this is the fourth screencast of my programming in Haiku series, basically. And this time we will improve our Hello World application again, and we will just first of all move our button and our text label so that they are looking more professional and more elegant in our window. So we will learn how to reposition our elements or widgets basically in our window, and how to use some of the nice tricks to position them very nicely by using some methods, some functions that will allow you to set those buttons, those widgets to the right position. And then we will just use a text box, and I will show you how to interact basically with your application, so how you can read the data that you have entered into your text box out and use them for something else. And yeah, before I start using the program, I will open up, of course, on my first desktop here, the BView, and I will go to my interface kit documentation basically, or to the interface documentation, of course, of the BView. And yeah, let's switch to desktop 3, and as you can see here, I have my project already open. I will open up the main window CPP. This is basically where we left off last time. The only thing that I did was removing the comments here. So what we now want to do is, first of all, I will show you how our window just looks like now. You'll see that we have a button on the left top basically of our window, and if I click it, you can see an B alert popping up telling me Hello World and Haiku rocks. So what we want to do now with this click me button is to reposition this click me button on the bottom, centered on the button basically of our window. So what we need to do is just go to our source code here in the main window CPP, and what we can use to reposition our button is a method called move to. If you go to the BView, you will find this method or this function basically under the BView, as we learned from the last time that almost every widget is somehow connected to the BView and somehow has some functions that can be used that are coming from the BView. So let me search for the function, because I already know the name move to. There we have it. So the move to function basically takes an B point or two floats, x and y. So what we will do now is just go to our source code, and we will move our button by using the command hello button please move to, and now we can use our method called bounce that we used the last time, and I will use it with an parameter, or with an call itself, width. So I'm now able to only get from the bounce only the width of if I write it correctly, of the boundaries basically of the window. And this I will use and divide by 2, so I have nearly the middle. But as our button itself has also a width, we have to subtract the button width again also. So hello button frame, as we now want the frame width, and then width again. So this is our x coordinate, and our y coordinate will be basically bounce height, and I think -15 should be okay. So don't forget the semicolon, saving, running, or rebuilding and then running. And now our button should be centered on the top, Oh, as you can see, it's somehow centered, but well, is it centered or isn't it? Seems to me to be centered, but what we can do, of course, also is just use the default views bounce method. Perhaps this was the mistake, I'm not quite sure. Default view bounce method. Now let's take a look if something changes. It seems to be quite in the middle, but the -15 is a little bit too small, so I'll make it -25. Take a look at it. And yeah, this looks a little bit better, but still what I forgot, of course, is to subtract the height of the button as well. So let me do this. Hello button frame, please tell me the height, and then -15. And now rerun it. The X and Y coordinates, by the way, are from, or represent the upper left corner, I guess. And as you can see here, now we have our button. Yeah, is it really in the middle? Don't think so. So let me experiment a little bit with the X coordinate here. So don't subtract the button width. Let's take a look how this will look like. So as you can see here, there are some parameters you can work with. No, it does not look correct. So the I know what I did wrong. Of course, I have to also subtract, divide the button width with 2 again. So as you can see, sometimes it's useful to have some math skills to place our widgets the right way in our window. And now it should be okay. Now it is the middle. As you can see here, our click me button is now in the middle. And yeah, if I click on it, hello world will come in here. So what we will do now is basically the same with our hello text. We want to put our hello text basically on the top left corner. So what we can do is just saying hello text. We can use the same method, move to, and the X and Y coordinates, and I will just set 15 as the X coordinate, and the Y coordinate should be also 15. I think this should be really okay. So if you don't want to if you don't want to give our hello text the right B-rect or something like this, so set the right position also with the B-rect, you can just leave this empty, then use the resize to preferred function to resize the B-rect to the correct size that you need for the inserted text, basically, or the inserted element in the widget. And then you can just move, use the move to function to move the element around the widget, around the view, or around our window. So this should work also very fine, and now we should have our hello world text on the top left corner. And yeah, as you can see, this looks pretty nice, I guess. So the next thing that we want to do now, after we learned how to position our widgets basically, is to create a new widget called no, I don't know how you call it, but maybe input box or something like this. So we want to have basically a small text, one line text box or something like this. And let's search in the interface kit documentation of the bbook if there's something called that way. So this is the string view that we used last time. There is a b text control. I think this should be it. Initialize the b text control by assigning a label and some text, both of which can be null. If the label is null, the entire bounds rectangle is resigned, blah blah blah. Okay, I think of course we can also go to the normal documentation in here, so the system overview documentation basically, and go to our go to the same b text control here, and here you will get an explanation what the b text control object really is. It would be nice if there would be some graphics in there, so in the bbook. So if someone is updating the bbook and listening to this podcast, Screencast, it would be nice if there would be an overview of the different elements. I know that there is an overview, but on bsly.de. This is basically a German knowledge base, and of course also some tutorials in English about BOS, Haiku and Theta systems. And under development they have an JAP what is what basically, where they have this so the element name and then a screenshot to show you what is what basically. You see that there is a text control, and this is basically the same that we will use here, the b text control. So normally if you don't find the thing that you search for, go to bsly, and they are called very very similar, the JAP stuff and the C++ API stuff in Haiku. So the text controller is the one that we want to use. So let's go to the b text control documentation in here. As you can see, here is our constructor. Let me copy the b text control constructor to our source code, so that I can then just start constructing our text control. So what we need to do, of course, first is go to our header file again, and then of course we have to add, I guess we have to add our text control H file, basically the header file. So we will include the text control header file, and we will create a new b text. Oh, I have to type it properly. Text control calling input box or something like this. And now we can just save it, go back to our main window CPP, and then we will just create an the input box equals new b text control, and then we can use again b rect. Let this be empty for the moment. We'll later move it again with the commands that we learned to the right place. Then we can give it a label. The label is basically, if you can see this in the bbook as well, the label is simply placed left of the input box itself. So we can give it a label just like enter your name, and then we can of course give it a text as well. We leave it to null here, so nothing basically. Then we can give it a new b message, of course, b message name basically or yeah, let's call it name. Bump name. Then the resizing method again. I will use B follow left and B will draw. So that's it for the input box. Now we have of course to resize the input box to the preferred size. Resize to preferred, and then we have our default view which should add our input box. The next thing that we want to do is just simply also move our input box as well to the right position. So let's just use the trick that we learned with the button. Bounce width. Yeah, I can use the default view or the main Windows bounce method because they are the same size basically. As you can see here, I'm using also the BView bounce method, so that our default view has the same size as our window, so it does not matter which one to use here. So subtract not the hello button, the input box frame width divided by 2, and then our y coordinate will be the height minus the no, we want to have this also in the middle, so x and y coordinates should be the middle of our window basically. So bounce height divided by 2 minus the math again. As you can see, I'm slowing down here, so I'm bad with math. It's not good to be bad at math when you're a programmer, I guess. So where was I? Input box. Frame height also divided by 2, I guess. So this should be all. Let's try to look where our input box has landed. Oh, we forgot to declare our name that we created here as a newbie message. So let's declare it in this enum. Here name equals nm or something like this. Now it should work. Oh, something wrong with our constructor, so maybe I forgot something again. Of course I forgot the name. Forgot the name. Input box. So again, up. Input box. Okay, spelling error. I have to write correctly, but now it should work. Again, something's wrong. Invalid operands, speed, text control, blah, float to binary operator. So we did something wrong. Here we forgot and greater s sign. And then again spelling out error. Oh, no errors, no warnings. Finally, yeah, there we have it. The it's the middle, but somehow enter your name. There's something missing, as you can see here. So the resize the preferred method did not work correctly. I don't know if it's a bug or something like this, or if our window is too small to fit the box. I will just make a shortcut here, or shorten it to name only. And yeah, the next thing that we will do is just change. Let me just remove the comment here. So we now have our input box. What we now want to do is just simply change our hello button clicked. So when I click the hello button, it then should, if I don't enter anything into our box, it should just print out hello world. But if I'm entering something in our input box, like my name, it should say then in our alert hello name, basically. And to do so, we have to just simply write an if statement in here that will catch if we have entered something in our input box or if we didn't enter something in our input box. But before I start with this, I will just include a string age, as you can see here. This wasn't included before. I included it right now because we will use a b string now. So let's go to our documentation to b strings, and yeah, what we can do with b strings is simply concatenating two strings together, and of course also checking for the length of a string. So let's search for length, and you see that there are two basically two methods to check for the length. The length itself, the length function returns the length measured in bytes, but what we want is the count chars. So we are using the count chars because it returns the length of objects string measured in characters, and this is the one that we need. So we copy this. So what we will do is just simply add an if case, basically here, if clause basically here. And the if clause should, first of all, let's create a b string first. So we'll create a b string hello and append to it hello. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters basically that we are appending. And what we will check now is if hello count chars equals 6, then basically execute this command in here. So our old commands, because this means that we did not enter anything, because we only have hello and we don't have anything else. Oh, I forgot, of course, to append our main part, the input box text. So for the input box text, to get the input box text, there's a method for text controls. Just let me go back to the text control, and let's search for methods, and here we'll find a method or a function for the bTextControl called text. There it was, text. So text just simply returns the text of the text control, of the bTextControl. So we'll execute input box, please tell me your text, and we are appending this as well to our hello. And now if we only have if this is empty, we only would have hello with the 6 characters in here. So this will mean that we will just execute our normal balert calling hello world. And the next thing that we will do is of course making an else here, because if we have more than 6 characters, that means that someone has entered his name in here. So we will just let me copy this from here. Should be easier. Let me copy both lines better. And the only thing that we want to change is the hello world. We will change this of course to the hello string, because string, if you go back to our bbook and if you then go back to our b string, you will see in the class methods there is a function or method called string. Give us the text message basically in this string object, so the const char, basically what we used before. So we need that terminated. We may not modify or free the pointer, blah blah blah. So this is what we want. And just let me close the bracket of the else here. So hello string. I think that should be it. Just let's save it, run it, check it for errors if I made some or not. Seems not to be so. This is our still a problem with the label here. So that's strange. I need to take a look at it because I did not have this before. So just let's enter just my name here. Click me, and as you can see, it's printing hello Leszek. If I'm entering nothing in here, it should bring me the dialog box or the alert box with hello world, and as you can see, it works. So this is basically everything for this screencast. I showed you how to reposition our objects, basically, or widgets on our view, and how to use some math and how some tricks to position them in the center of your window. And then I showed you how to interact with controls like, for example, the B text control, and how to read out some texts that you have entered there and then use them for other operations. I could of course use it also for copying operation or something like this. So if I'm entering, for example, this might be a very interesting task for some of you, entering for example, or creating 2 text boxes, entering one source file and one target file, and then clicking on click me, it would copy the source file to the target file. This would be a nice trick or a nice thing to do. So you can also use this strings that you extract from the text control to create something. You can use it for shell commands, of course, and other different stuffs. So this is basically everything for this screencast. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, thanks for watching. Until the next time.